Close your eyes for a moment and remember the quiet spaces of your heart, places where love once lived, where someone's presence felt like warmth on a cold day. Sometimes life teaches us to be strong, to stand on our own, to act like we don't need anyone. We build walls around our hearts and convince ourselves that independence is the same as peace. But deep down, there are feelings we cannot silence. Tonight, I want to speak about something deeply human, something fragile, beautiful, and painfully honest. The truth about love we were too proud to admit. The moments when we looked into someone's eyes and pretended we were fine without them, even though their absence echoed inside us like an empty room. This speech is about that quiet confession many of us carry in our hearts. The words we wish we had said sooner. The realization that sometimes the person we pushed away, the person we acted strong without, was actually the one our soul had always needed. My love, I pretended I didn't need you, but the truth is I always did. Because sometimes love isn't about dramatic promises or grand gestures. Sometimes it's about the simple, heartbreaking truth that even when we tried to walk alone, a part of our heart was always walking beside someone else. And tonight, we're finally brave enough to admit it. There are moments in life when silence says more than words ever could. Moments when the heart carries something so heavy, so fragile, that speaking it feels almost impossible. And yet, those unspoken feelings sit quietly inside us, waiting for the day we finally become brave enough to face them. I want to talk about a truth many of us know but rarely admit. A truth hidden behind pride, fear, and the strange way we protect our hearts from being hurt. Sometimes we meet someone who changes the rhythm of our world. Someone whose presence feels like calm water after a long storm. But instead of embracing that feeling, we pretend we don't need it. We act strong. We act independent. We tell ourselves we're better off alone. And sometimes, we even convince the other person that we're perfectly fine without them. But deep down, somewhere beneath all that pretending, there is a quiet voice inside us whispering the truth. My love, I pretended I didn't need you, but the truth is, I always did. It's a strange thing, love. It doesn't always arrive loudly. It doesn't always announce itself with fireworks or dramatic moments. Sometimes it arrives quietly, like soft rain on a peaceful evening. You don't notice it right away. But slowly, gently, it begins to change everything. You start noticing the little things. The way their voice softens your day. The way their presence makes even ordinary moments feel meaningful. The way a simple conversation with them can make the world feel lighter. And yet, even when love feels that real, we sometimes hide from it. Not because we don't care, but because caring that deeply can be terrifying. When someone becomes important to your heart, they gain the power to hurt you. And that possibility makes people build walls. Invisible walls made of distance, sarcasm, silence, and pride. So we say things like, I'm fine on my own. We act like love is something optional, something we can walk away from whenever we want. But the heart knows better. The heart always knows better. There were days when I told myself I didn't need you. Days when I convinced myself that life was easier without depending on anyone. I walked forward with confidence, telling the world that I was strong enough to stand alone. And maybe I was strong. But strength isn't the same as honesty, because every quiet night reminded me of something I didn't want to admit. I missed you, not in a dramatic, desperate way, not in a way that made the world collapse, but in those subtle, quiet moments that reveal the truth about what we feel, like when something beautiful happened and the first person I wanted to tell was you. Or when something difficult happened and I realized your voice was the only one that could calm my thoughts. Those moments taught me something powerful about love. Love doesn't disappear just because we pretend it doesn't exist. It waits, patiently, quietly, like a light glowing in the distance. And no matter how far we try to walk away from it, that light remains. Sometimes the hardest person to be honest with is ourselves. We spend so much time protecting our image, protecting our pride, protecting the version of ourselves that looks strong and independent, but inside, there is another version of us, a softer version, a version that longs for connection, understanding, and warmth. That version of me always knew the truth. It knew that when I laughed, I wished you were there to hear it. It knew that when I struggled, I wished you were there to understand it. It knew that even when I walked away, a part of my heart stayed behind with you. But admitting that kind of love takes courage, because love is vulnerability. And vulnerability means removing the armor we've spent years building. It means standing in front of someone with an open heart and saying, "You matter to me more than I ever allowed myself to admit." That kind of honesty can feel terrifying, but it can also be incredibly beautiful, because when we stop pretending, when we finally allow ourselves to feel what we've been hiding, something inside us becomes lighter. For so long, I thought pretending to be strong was the same as being strong. I thought refusing to need anyone meant I was in control of my life. But I learned something important along the way. Real strength isn't about pretending you don't need people. Real strength is about being honest enough to say that you do. There is nothing weak about love. There is nothing weak about caring deeply for another human being. In fact, it might be the bravest thing we can do, because love requires trust. It requires patience. It requires the willingness to open your heart, even when the world has given you reasons to keep it closed. And the truth is, I tried to keep my heart closed, not because you didn't deserve it, but because I was afraid of how much you meant to me. Afraid that if I let myself feel everything my heart wanted to feel, I might lose control. But love was never something meant to be controlled. It was meant to be experienced, felt, shared. The strange thing about pretending you don't need someone is that the act of pretending slowly reveals the truth. Because every time you say, "I'm fine," your heart quietly asks, "Are you really?" Every time you walk away, something inside you wonders what life would feel like if you stayed. And every time you tell yourself that love doesn't matter, your heart reminds you that it does. You see, love isn't just about grand moments. It's about presence. It's about knowing that someone sees you, truly sees you, beyond the surface, beyond the masks we wear for the world. You saw me in a way that most people never did. You saw the quiet parts of me, the uncertain parts, the hopeful parts. And maybe that's why I pretended I didn't need you, because when someone understands you that deeply, it makes you feel exposed. And being seen that clearly can be both beautiful and frightening at the same time. But looking back now, I realized something simple and powerful. The moments I felt most alive were the moments when I stopped pretending, when I allowed myself to laugh with you, to talk with you, to simply exist beside you without hiding behind walls. Those were the moments when life felt real. And the truth is, those moments mattered more to me than I ever admitted. More than pride, more than independence, more than the illusion of being unaffected, because love has a way of quietly shaping who we are, even when we deny it, even when we try to ignore it, even when we convince ourselves we've moved on. The heart remembers. It remembers the warmth of someone's presence. It remembers the calm feeling of being understood. It remembers the quiet happiness that comes from sharing life with someone who genuinely cares. And no amount of pretending can erase those memories. That's why I'm standing here today, speaking honestly about something I once tried to hide. I pretended I didn't need you. I pretended I was perfectly fine walking my path alone. I pretended that love was just another experience, something temporary, something replaceable. But the truth is far simpler than all those excuses. The truth is that your presence made my world better. Your voice made difficult days easier. Your kindness reminded me that life doesn't have to be faced alone. And every time I told myself I didn't need you, my heart quietly disagreed. Because love isn't about dependency. It's about connection. It's about choosing someone not because you can't survive without them, but because life feels more meaningful with them beside you. And somewhere along the way, without realizing it, you became that person for me. The person whose absence felt like silence. the person whose presence felt like peace, the person I pretended I could live without, while secretly knowing that my heart had already chosen you. There comes a moment in life when the silence inside your heart becomes louder than the words you have been hiding behind. A moment when all the walls you carefully built around your feelings start to feel heavy, almost impossible to carry anymore. And suddenly you realize something simple but powerful. Pretending is exhausting. For a long time, I told myself that emotions should stay quiet, that love should stay controlled, that if I never said what my heart truly felt, then I could protect myself from pain. It felt safer that way, safer to smile, safer to act calm, safer to pretend that everything inside me was steady and untouched. But the truth is, the heart doesn't follow the rules we try to give it. You can try to silence it. You can try to ignore it. You can even try to walk far away from the person it cares about. But feelings have a strange way of finding their voice again. I remember the quiet moments most, not the dramatic ones, not the loud arguments, or the emotional scenes people imagine when they think about love. What stayed with me were the quiet moments, the small ones that seemed ordinary at the time but now feel incredibly meaningful. Like the way your laughter filled the air when something simple happened. The way a conversation with you could turn an ordinary evening into something warm and unforgettable. The way your presence made the world feel calmer, even when life outside was chaotic. And yet, even during those moments, I carried a strange fear inside me. A fear that if I admitted how much those moments meant, I would somehow lose control of my own heart. So I kept quiet. I acted like everything was casual. I acted like you were just another person passing through my life. But that wasn't the truth. The truth was much deeper than that. Because love doesn't always appear as a dramatic declaration. Sometimes it grows slowly, quietly, like roots beneath the ground. You don't see it happening at first. You don't even realize how deep it has grown. But one day you look at your heart and realize that something powerful has taken hold. Something real, something impossible to ignore. And when that realization comes, it brings a different kind of challenge. Not the challenge of loving someone, but the challenge of admitting that love. Admitting love means letting go of pride. It means saying words that make your voice shake a little. It means standing in front of someone without the armor you once used to protect yourself. And that kind of honesty can feel terrifying. Because when you open your heart, you allow someone to see the most vulnerable parts of you. The parts that doubt themselves. The parts that long for connection. The parts that hope someone will stay. For a long time, I believed vulnerability was weakness. I believed strong people never admitted they needed anyone. I believed independence meant never letting someone matter too much. But life has a quiet way of teaching us lessons we didn't expect. And one of the most powerful lessons I learned was this. Real courage is not about hiding your feelings. Real courage is about revealing them. It's about standing in front of someone and saying the truth you once tried to bury. It's about allowing your heart to speak, even when your mind is afraid of what might happen next. Because love, real love, requires honesty. Not the kind of honesty we show to the world when everything is easy, but the deeper honesty that appears when we admit what we truly feel. I remember the moment I realized I had been running from that honesty. It wasn't during a big event. It wasn't during a dramatic argument or a life-changing moment. It happened during a quiet evening when everything around me felt still. And in that stillness, I asked myself a simple question. If I truly didn't need you, why did your absence feel so noticeable? Why did certain songs remind me of you? Why did certain places feel different without you there? Why did every meaningful thought somehow circle back to the memory of your voice? The answers to those questions were impossible to ignore, because deep down, my heart had already chosen the truth that love had grown quietly between us, the truth that your presence had become a part of my life in ways I never expected, the truth that pretending I didn't need you was just a story I told myself to avoid being vulnerable. And once you see the truth clearly, it becomes very hard to hide from it again. that realization changed something inside me. It made me understand that life is too short for emotional distance that comes from fear, too short for words left unspoken, too short for pretending that the people who matter don't actually matter. Because one day you look back at your life and realize something very simple. The moments that truly shaped your heart were not the moments when you protected yourself. They were the moments when you allowed yourself to feel deeply, when you allowed someone to matter, when you allowed love to exist without trying to control it. And suddenly the idea of hiding those feelings feels unnecessary. It feels like carrying a burden that no longer belongs to you. That is when courage appears. Not loud courage, not dramatic courage, but quiet courage. The courage to speak honestly. The courage to admit what your heart has known for a long time. And when that courage arrives, the words that once felt impossible slowly begin to form. Words that come from the deepest part of your heart. Words that carry truth instead of fear. Words that finally say what has been waiting to be said for so long. My love, for a long time I tried to convince myself that I didn't need you. I tried to act like my life was perfectly complete on its own. I tried to believe that independence meant keeping my heart distant. But every memory, every quiet moment, every reflection showed me something different. It showed me that your presence brought something into my life that I could never replace. A sense of calm, a sense of understanding, a sense of connection that felt genuine and rare. And the more I tried to ignore that truth, the more obvious it became. Because real love has a quiet persistence. It doesn't demand attention loudly. It doesn't force its way into your life, but it remains steady, patient, waiting for the moment when you finally allow yourself to acknowledge it. That is the moment when vulnerability becomes strength, when honesty becomes freedom, when the words you once feared begin to feel natural and necessary. Admitting love doesn't mean losing control of your life. It means embracing the part of life that makes everything meaningful. It means recognizing that connection between two hearts is not something to hide from. It is something to honor, something to protect, something to speak about with sincerity and warmth. Because love is not just about romance. It is about presence, about knowing that someone sees the real you, about knowing that your thoughts, your dreams, your quiet moments matter to someone else. And once you experience that kind of connection, it becomes impossible to pretend it never existed. That is why honesty matters so much. Because honesty allows love to breathe. It allows two people to meet each other without masks, without pride, without unnecessary distance, just two hearts acknowledging what they truly feel. And sometimes that simple honesty can change everything. It can transform silence into understanding, distance into closeness, uncertainty into clarity, all because someone found the courage to speak the truth that had been waiting quietly inside their heart.